Are you there? Testing, testing. 1, 2. I think I heard you.
Hi, Teresa.
Hello.
Hi, Susan.
Good morning or afternoon. How are you, Teresa? Or Jemai? It's Jemai.
Yep, it's Javaya.
We are good. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
So it's a busy Monday.
Yes, very, very. Perfect. We'll get started in less than 10.
All right.
Okay, I see Jerry has joined us. Jerry, do you want to give us a quick audio check, please?
Sure. Good afternoon. Hope all is well.
Okay, you sound good. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Susan.
Good morning or afternoon. I keep saying good morning.
It's okay, Susan. You'll get it by the time it's 2 o'clock.
I'm optimistic that I still have more hours in the day that are actually left.
It's okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's call with L&I Secretary Jerry Alexiak and UC Benefits Policy Director Susan Dickinson. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Jemai, when you're ready, if you want to switch over hosting, and we'll get started. Excellent, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's call with L&I's Secretary Jerry Oleksiak and UC Benefits Policy Director Susan Dickinson. I'm Teresa Elliott, Deputy Communications Director for L&I. Please be sure to mute your phone, and you'll submit your questions by clicking the chat icon, which is the blue thought bubble at the bottom of your screen. Please include your name, media outlet, followed by your question. In the interest of time, you'll be limited to one question, but time permitting, we'll open up the call for a second round of questions. You may submit any follow-up questions to us at dlipress@pa.gov, and we'll address them after the call. For your awareness, this call is being recorded. If you do not consent to being recorded, please hang up now. Following the call, a link to the recording will be provided to the media outlets that participated. We'll get started now with comments from Secretary Jerry Oleksiak. Secretary?
Thank you, Teresa, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you taking the time to be on these calls and helping to get out the information that we want to share with our customers and constituents. Some updates on the statistics. Since March 15th, we have now paid out a total of $14 billion, billion with a B, in benefits. That includes 7.6 from regular unemployment compensation, 5.3 from the federal pandemic unemployment compensation program, which is the extra $600 a week, 945 million from the pandemic unemployment assistance, which is what goes to people who are traditionally not eligible for unemployment, and 64 million through the pandemic emergency unemployment compensation program, which is the additional 13 weeks of extended benefits. In that time, since March 15th, we've received 2.5 million total initial claims. That's 2.5 million claims that have been filed since March 15th. 2 million for regular unemployment and about 512,000 for the pandemic unemployment assistance program. We continue to do what we can to upgrade our system and to make our to augment our staff. We have worked a total of 110,000 hours of overtime now in our with our UC staff. Our UC service centers have increased staffing levels by 80% since March 15th with the hiring of various new employees and working with other state offices and agencies to bring people in. We've added 312 new employees, bringing the total of UC service center staff to 1,491. We've added 358 additional state employees who have been reassigned from other offices and agencies to assist in unemployment comp. And our virtual assistant, the IBM Watson program, has answered 218,000 calls since March 15th. I know you're all following what's going on with the fraud update, the PUC scam that has impacted Pennsylvania and many other states. As you know, scammers have stolen personal identity information to establish phony bank accounts and have attempted to receive unemployment compensation benefits. This is, I want to assure everyone, as we have every week, that this is not anything that happened to our system. Our system was not breached in any way. So any data that we have in our L&I system is still secure. Individuals who are receiving the PUA benefits or PUA-related FPUC payments and didn't apply for them are likely not even aware that they were previous victims of identity theft from sources outside the Commonwealth. We do have instructions on our website, uc.pa.gov, on the process that can be used to return checks or direct deposit funds, which is what we recommend you do. It's a good opportunity to remind folks that they should be regularly keeping a close eye on their credit rating and their personal information. Free credit reports are available weekly through April of 2021 at annualcreditreport.com. As we have been, we continue to work closely with multiple state and federal agencies to investigate these fraud incidents that we announced previously. And because this is an ongoing criminal investigation, we obviously will not be getting into any particulars or any details about the investigation. One other thing before I turn it over to Susan, we have held our second virtual town hall last Thursday. We will be doing another one this Thursday, so we appreciate people getting the word out. You can participate in the live stream by going to access.live.palabor. That's access.live.palabor. Or there's a listening only number that you can use, 833-380-0719. Those, there are limited audio lines, so we ask only that individuals without access to a computer or a smartphone, internet access, use that line. And we encourage members of the general public to call, ask questions about unemployment. We can't obviously get into specifics of individual claims, but we will answer as many questions as we can. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to our Director of UC Benefits and Policy, Susan Dickinson. Susan?
Thank you. So as the Secretary mentioned, we've made strides with the PUA fraud prevention efforts. It really worked well for us to issue checks and mail checks for the time being to kind of put the brakes on all of the fraudulent claims where people's identities were stolen and then claims were filed in their name. So we will, now that we have done that for a couple weeks, we're going to be transitioning individuals over to debit cards. It's still going to be the same concept. They have to receive their debit card by mail. So that part will be the same. But once they have the debit card, then payments will get to individuals faster because it'll just be an electronic submission. And there are ways that people can hook up their debit card with their bank account to be able to move the money over. So it's not as if you have to physically go use your debit card somewhere. You can move the money out of your account into your account. So it's fairly simple to use. And we'll be communicating that with everyone so that they have the information on what they need with their debit card and how to manage it. And we'll be rolling that out with Pennsylvania Treasury and making sure everyone is informed about what's going on. And so far, you know, it has been nice that mailing the checks to individuals, as the Secretary mentioned, has uncovered identity theft for people who didn't realize their identities had been stolen. So it's helped a lot of people be able to start protecting their identities as soon as possible. So we're going to continue this with debit cards moving forward. We did also make strides with a lot of our PUA issues with our vendor this last week. So we're very close. We do have a solution for opening up back weeks for individuals who weren't able to file for back weeks. They weren't even offered for them. That's a question we've been getting for weeks and weeks. So it seems we have a solution now and we're testing it and it seems to be going well. So we should be able to offer that to individuals very soon. We also have payments being held for various reasons, and you know, we're also tackling those reasons and you know why the system is holding them and trying to release a lot of payments en masse. So there have been a lot of questions to our PUA email account and to our PUA phone line, and it seems like a lot of these larger issues, once they're resolved, will alleviate you know some of that frustration in trying to get through to us on PUA. And speaking of which, we do have a bunch of staff from other agencies that are helping us already. We have more coming on. They're being trained this week. That should also have a lot of individuals on the phone to answer questions, which will be very helpful. We're also having regular staff trained. Right now, there are no PUA questions that are able to be answered via live chat. But we are working on trying to be able to get individuals trained and being able to have a live chat for PUA. That's a little bit longer range, but at least in the interim, you know, the phone number will have more staff and we'll be able to answer more questions. And there will be fewer questions coming in because those payments will finally be released. We have a lot of messaging that will be going out to our PUA claimants via email this week about the different things going on with our fraud situation. Also, you know, when we do open up weeks for filing, we want to let everybody know if they're in that boat that they can go file those weeks. And we also do want to send reminders about the program in general, now that we're several months into the disaster and individuals are, continuing to file. And once they get into a good groove, it seems like, there aren't a lot of hiccups and they can continue filing. We just want to remind everyone of the eligibility requirements. This is a program that was specifically designed for the COVID disaster and not unemployment for other reasons. So we will be sending reminders about how, it is the specific reasons mentioned by the federal government given to all of the states. Those are the only reasons why someone can be on the PUA program. With the other programs, PEUC is up and running and people are continuing to file. So for individuals who are expecting a PEUC claim, perhaps you've submitted an application. Now is the time to log in and see if you have weeks available for filing. And if you don't have weeks available for filing yet, you should check back daily. When the applications are submitted online, we can build the claim probably the same night that you're submitting it. And then your weeks will likely be available for filing as of Sunday. For individuals who actually mailed a physical paper application to us, that takes a little bit longer. But once a staff member actually interfaces your claim and sets it up, then you will be able to log in and file for your weeks. So everyone who does file, I just encourage them to every day log in and just see if you have weeks available for filing. And at that point, you would then file every 2 weeks thereafter. For regular UC, so far about 84% of our payments have been made from that very first week of the pandemic for unemployment claims that were filed. We do have more of our examiners who are going to be devoting their time to claims issues. They've been helping largely answer phone calls, these last 3 months. Now that we have additional help from other agencies and have trained our new staff that we've hired, and we continue to do so, we're able to use more of our examiners, who are the ones who make decisions on claims, to go do that very thing, as opposed to answering phones. So they will be able to free up a lot of the issues on claims where people have been wondering, for a while they may have been filing their claims every 2 weeks and everything's going well, but why aren't I receiving any money? It could be because they have an issue, such as they quit their job, or perhaps they work for an educational institution. We have to look at their eligibility. It could be any number of unemployment issue type reasons. And we'll have more individuals addressing those now, so those should be freed up more. I do want to remind everyone about the troubleshooting guide that individuals who haven't heard anything from us could go and check if they're wondering why they haven't received a certain piece of paper in the mail, or if they haven't received any payments. That's at our website, www.uc.pa.gov, at our frequently asked questions for claimants. So it's www.uc.pa.gov/FAQ/claimant. And with that, we're ready for questions.
Thank you, Susan, for that information. As we move into the question and answer portion of this call, I'd like to remind everyone to submit their questions via the blue thought bubble at the bottom of your screen. Please include your name and your media outlet along with your question. Our first question today is from Paul Van Alstall from WTAE. What steps should people take if they receive UC checks that they have not applied for? And what could happen to people who cash these checks that they do not deserve?
I'll begin the answer. We encourage people to go to our website, the frequently asked questions. There is a section about this. There's an address in which people can return the checks that they have. Returning them will be very helpful to us. If people cash checks that they're not supposed to, they're not supposed to, and it depends on the reason. Some people may think it's their stimulus check. We've heard that from people who've gotten them. If they are, they'll be expected to return those dollars. Susan, do you have any more on that?
I just quickly looked up the address from our press release to share. So the checks should be returned to the Department of Treasury Comptroller's Office. Attention, Mark Accorsi, ACCORSI, room 113 Finance Building, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17120.
WPXI's Ashley Bishop asked, can you please explain what happened to the UC system on Friday? There was a message that the UC mainframe went down. What does that mean, and did it delay claims?
It did go down. It did not delay incoming claims. People could still file new initial claims. It just affected any of the information that was already in the system. So for example, filing continuing claims, they wouldn't have been able to do that until the system came back up. I think it was around 4 o'clock or so. And that had to do, it was a very technical reason. It had to do with one of the databases, and the database is getting full, and they had to partition the database. I'm not a technical person, but it was a back-end database issue. And so OIT spent all day fixing it, and they finally did do what they need to do, and they got it back running around early evening. So we did have staff. We have staff who work into the evenings and staff who do overtime. So they were then able to address emails and things like that in the evening, even if, you know, all day long we had been down. So we were still able to get some questions addressed, and people were still able to file for continued claims in the evening up till 9 p.m.
Isaac Pettick from Erie News Now asked, if people are receiving payment for PUA and regular UC, but they know they should only be receiving regular UC, where should they go to pay back PUA benefits?
We do have a, in the frequently asked questions on our website, there is an address for our 5th floor of the Labor and Industry Building in Harrisburg. That is where individuals can send checks for overpayments, and that would be where they would send the checks. So right now there may not be, depending on timing, there may not be an actual overpayment on their claim yet. But if they anticipate that there will be, and they know that they are overpaid those benefits, they can send them to our 5th floor Labor and Industry in Harrisburg. And that full address is on our website.
Next, the Philadelphia Inquirer's Aaron Everland asked, what details do you have on the scammers? Where are they coming from, in the U.S. or overseas?
I wish we could answer your questions on this, but again, this is an ongoing criminal investigation, so we will not be sharing any details about the investigation itself.
And another question about the scams. Tom Ford from the Borough newspaper. Can you tell us about how many identity theft cases, fraudulent claims you've uncovered by converting to the mail checks?
I would offer the same answer, that as long as this is a continuing investigation, we won't be offering any details on the specifics.
Next, Michaela Drapak from ABC 27. We've had some viewers asking how long unemployment compensation benefits will last, because on your site, some indications point to July 25th, while others say recipients should get 39 weeks worth. Susan?
It would depend on the program. So for regular unemployment compensation, an individual, depending on their work history, can get anywhere from 18 to 26 weeks worth of benefits. And then as long as we are still in the PEUC time frame, which was April 4th, week ending April 4th, all the way through the end of this year, I believe December 26th is the last week. Then as long as we are still in the PEUC period, once someone finishes their regular 18 to 26 weeks of regular unemployment compensation, there are an additional 13 weeks of PEUC available to them. And again, that last payable week is December 26th. So no one will be able to get PEUC payments after December 26th. The FPUC program, which is the additional $600 on top of all of the programs, that ends July 25th, which is probably what you've seen on the website. So FPUC, the $600 payments are payable from the week ending April 4th through the week ending July 25th of 2020. So that will be when those payments end. When it comes to the PUA program, right now, as the disaster declaration stands, the federal government has said that PUA is payable through December 26th as well, just like PEUC. So that program will end on December 26th. That'll be the last week someone could get paid for PUA. PUA is a maximum of 39 weeks for individuals. And if you look, back at the UC and PEUC combination, that is also 39 weeks. If you add them together, if you get 26 weeks of UC and 13 weeks of PEUC. So the PUA program, when that does end, there won't be a guaranteed 39 weeks. It's either 39 weeks or that last date, whichever one comes first. So also with the PUA program, at any time the federal government can decide to shorten that. It does not necessarily have to pay through December 26th. That's just how it stands right now. If they decide that the disaster is over prior to that, they could end the program early.
Mark Sims from Radio PA wants to know what the status of the UC Trust Fund is.
We watch that very closely. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me now, but obviously it's dwindling. We still have dollars there, but we do have an arrangement with the Federal Department of Labor for interest-free loans that we can obtain within a matter of days. And there will be no hiccups along the way for people receiving benefits. I'm not sure, Susan, if we post the numbers on the trust fund on our website, but we do keep a very close eye on that.
Lauren Rosenblatt from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette asked, why were people unable to file for back weeks through the PUA system? And what day do you expect that people can begin to file?
So the back weeks issue in PUA was created when a person's first week of their claim was also their last week that they worked full-time. And then when they answered accordingly and said that they did work full-time, the system didn't let them file for any weeks after that. So most people had, started their unemployment back in mid-March, and we didn't have the PUA system up and able to take claims for several weeks after that. So it's those in-between weeks. They may be filing currently for current weeks, but there are some weeks back through mid-March up until the time that they could start filing current weeks that have to be offered to them. So the system, when it comes to how it was designed, and again, it's a third-party vendor that we get this system from. A lot of different states are using it. It's designed differently from our current program, where we can, even if we don't know if we can pay someone for weeks yet, there may be an eligibility question, we can at least have them file for the weeks, and we will hold them until we make a decision. But this system is set up differently, in which case we have to determine someone's eligibility first, and then we have to go back and have them file for weeks. So what they've been working on with us, and we're testing now, we think we will have it available next week at the latest. It might actually be earlier than that. And what we'll do is we'll just send an email to every PUA claimant. We have all of their emails so that they know they can go file for those weeks if they are available.
Laura Benshaw from WHYY asks, is there any indication that jobs are returning in areas that have moved to the yellow or green phases of reopening, and that people in those counties are no longer drawing UC benefits?
It's still early for us to determine that specifically. One of the ways that we know someone is back to work that has been on unemployment is if they don't have to tell us, they just stop applying. They should stop doing their continuing claim. So that tells us that they're back to work. We are watching that again closely. We hope to have more information on that as this continues. The numbers that we had seen applying for unemployment have been dropping. They picked up a little bit a few weeks ago. I'm not sure where they were last week yet, but I really can't say definitively that it has made a difference. Not yet.
We are now moving into the second round of questions, and if you have any additional questions to submit, please do it via the blue thought bubble at the bottom of your screen. Next, we have Lee Lesniak from ABC 10 News in Philadelphia. When will PUA claimants be able to file for back pay? And what are the issues that you're seeing with the PUA back pay that has prevented claimants from filing?
And again, the back pay issue is one that we think will be available for them to file next week at the latest, possibly even earlier, as long as testing goes well. And the issue was simply that the weeks aren't offered because there was an outstanding issue on the claim, the outstanding issue being that they worked for a full week. So, once those the issue that was raised by working for a full week is resolved, which isn't really an issue in itself. It just means that we have to move their effective date forward a little bit. Then we're able to have them file for those back weeks and they can claim their payments.
Follow-up question from Aaron Averlund from the Inquirer. According to Representative Patrick Harris from Erie, the ranking member of the House Labor and Industry Committee, approximately 53,000 to 58,000 people have been affected by the UC scam. Can you confirm those numbers?
Representative Harkins, and I will not be confirming any numbers related to the ongoing investigation.
Next, Rachel Yakunas from Fox 43. Can you explain more about how the unemployment system has not been breached and remains secure? Does this mean that none of the data that scammers have obtained came from the unemployment system?
That's correct. Our system has not been breached. Those identities were stolen through some other means, and people are using that to apply for unemployment. So our system has not been breached in any way.
Michaela Drapak from ABC 27 asks, are the phone line hours being extended for UC staff, for UC claimants? And are staff working extra hours into the evenings or on weekends, or are there plans to do so?
They have been working extra hours. I mentioned the 110,000 hours of overtime. I think that was the number I gave. Yes, 110,000 hours of overtime that our unemployment compensation staff has worked. Susan, you want to add anything to that?
Just that with the additional staff, what we've been trying, which we have never tried before, is instead of putting the brand new staff on phones, we've been putting brand new staff on chat. And therefore, we're able to move more of the experienced staff from chat onto phones so that hopefully we can get through more phone calls, because phone calls tend to be a little faster pace. And of course, depending on the issue that you get, it might be something very complicated that a more seasoned staff member would be able to take care of more quickly and get through more phone calls in a day.
And I would add, as we've said before on these calls, that unemployment compensation, it's a complicated system, and it does take people time to learn the system. It's not something where we can just hand people a script and say, answer the phones. There are a lot of nuances, as you've heard in some of the conversations we've had. So we want to make sure that people are as ready as we can possibly make them. And we have abbreviated the training schedule to get those new people working.
WTAE's Paul Van Alsto asks, what are the criminal penalties for cashing a UC check that you didn't apply for? And will L&I seek to prosecute those who wrongly receive checks?
I don't know what the criminal penalties are, and I'm not ready to comment on actions that we would take.
Next, Tom Ford from the Borough. How long do you estimate it will take to transition all affected recipients to debit cards? And if a recipient previously had a debit card, should or can they switch back from direct deposit to debit?
So for individuals who already chose debit card as their preferred method of payment, we have actually already switched them over. Well, Treasury has switched them over this past weekend. So if someone already has a debit card and they've chose a debit card for their method of payment, they should expect to see their payments on their debit card right away. And probably starting tomorrow, just the way that the payment schedule works, once you file for a week, it takes about 2 to 3 days or so to receive your payment. So for the transition for the rest of them, PA Treasury is working on that. They have a target for next week to try and get the debit card company to issue all the debit cards to the other individuals. There are also some required mailings and information that we have to make sure that individuals receive regarding those cards. So we have to make sure, and Treasury has to make sure that individuals are informed about certain things with the cards. So their plan is to have that begin next week, and we will be communicating that as well as Treasury. Both agencies are going to make sure that the word gets out so that individuals know what to expect.
Isaac Pettick from Erie News Now asks, if someone owes money to the department for a UC overpayment, will they still receive the additional $600 a week if the full amount hasn't been paid back?
Yes, they do still receive the additional $600 a week. I know that there have been some issues in the past that our IT staff, works on when we do find them, where some people weren't getting the $600 when they should, and that's usually when we, take their entire UC benefit check for the week toward an overpayment. When we do that, they should still be getting the additional $600. The U.S. Department of Labor, instructs the states to take about half. You can take up to half of that amount, so $300 to garnish other overpayments, to pay back other overpayments. And that is something that we're not currently doing, but our IT staff is working on that so that we are compliant with what we're required to be doing.
Okay, next we have Ashley Bishop from WPXI. What should affected Pennsylvanians? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong question. Ashley's asking, with 2.5 million applications filed, what age groups are you seeing most impacted and what industries?
Our Center for Workforce Information and Analysis, who does the monthly unemployment stats, provide a lot of detail on that. You could go on the website to see the latest information they have. I can tell you the last time I looked, the industries that were affected the most, and Susan, again, you may know, and don't hesitate to jump in, entertainment, leisure, restaurants, they have been impacted pretty heavily. Healthcare in some areas, manufacturing in some areas. As far as age groups, I'm don't want to say because I'd have to really look at the stats, but I would encourage you to go on the website and see what information is there.
And next we have Aaron Everlund again from the Inquirer. What should affected Pennsylvanians do in regards to their identities being stolen? Can we offer any guidance?
I think it's no different than what you would do if in any situation where your identity was stolen. You need to contact your credit agency. I know our credit reporting agency, we have annualcreditreport.com is providing free credit reports. Your credit card company can help you. Your bank can help you. So it depends on your own individual situation and what's happened to your identity that you're aware of. That's where I would start.
And also, and we do have all of this information from the press release we issued 2 weekends ago to give the advice to individuals in this situation. So one of the things that is important to do is for them to file a police report with their local police. And then for the purpose of unemployment claims, we will be asking them for a copy of that police report so we can disassociate the claim with them and proceed.
Okay, and final question for the day. What is the current unemployment rate in Pennsylvania?
The last time it came out, last month, I'm drawing a blank. Susan, it was it around 16%? Do you remember exactly?
Yeah, I'm on the PA work.
I have that information if you need it. It was 15.1% in April.
Okay, and the May numbers won't be out probably for another week or so.
They'll be out June 19th.
There we go.
Excellent. Okay, so it looks like we are out of questions for today. So I'd like to ask Jerry if you have any final thoughts or comments for our reporters.
Thank you again for joining us and for getting the information out. A reminder that we are doing the town hall this Thursday. So if you want to share that information, that would be helpful as well. And we appreciate the work that you do. Thank you.
Susan, any final thoughts or comments today?
No, just thank you for joining us.
Okay, and thank you. That's all the time we have for today. Please email our communications office at dlipress@pa.gov with any additional questions or follow-ups. Thank you for joining us today and stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you.